So Charlene Grall joined the Cat Network in 1996, quickly joined the board in 1998, and since then she has been the treasurer, vice president, and president. Charlene's current role in the Cat Network is the chairperson of the Spay and Neuter Committee for the Miami Meow Mobile. Most of the clinical management is done by Lori, which has joined us on the call. Charlene manages all the data collected from the Meow Mobile, as well as the surgeries done in their 35 participating veterinary clinics in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. Charlene has been involved with the Cat Network for 24 years and has been doing cat rescue for 31 years. Charlene epitomizes what it means to be passionate about rescue work. As she says, once you are involved, it is near impossible to look the other way. So welcome once again. We are so excited to get started with all the questions that we have here. So let's talk about the Cat Network and what the Cat Network does and what your mission is.
So the Cat Network, as you had mentioned, it was born in 1995. After Hurricane Andrew that hit in 1992, there was an explosion of course, cats in the community because of pets being lost and subsequent births. And so a group of women on Miami Beach got together and they decided to form this group, and they named it the Cat Network. And what they wanted to do was to do something to control the overpopulation of stray cats in Miami-Dade County. So they put together a program and talked to all the vets in the area and got them to get on board to provide low-cost surgeries, spay-neuter surgeries, for these street cats, which we call community cats. And a community cat is one that is either an abandoned stray that at one time was owned and is somewhat social, or it was born on the street and it has a natural fear of humans, and so it's not very social. That's the one they call feral cat. But overall, we just call them all community cats. So we started a certificate program where we printed a certificate that the vet would accept in lieu of money to sterilize the cat and give them a rabies vaccine. And the people who bought this would buy the certificates from us in the Cat Network, and they actually had to be members of the Cat Network to participate in this certificate program. And at that time, the certificates were very, very cheap. They were $15. We would sometimes have specials, you know, buy one, get one free, BOGO. That was the original BOGO. So we were just amazed at how cooperative the veterinary community was. And right away, we had like 10 or 15 clinics that participated in this program. And over the years, it grew to be about 40. And now it's kind of slowed down back to about 35 because it is basically pro bono work that they're doing. The amount that we pay them probably covers the cost of their supplies, and that would be it. It doesn't include their employees' time and their time. So that's our main mission, is to sterilize the cats. So our mission statement is that we want to reduce the overpopulation of stray and abandoned cats in Miami-Dade County in a humane manner. And with that, we usually mean trap, neuter, return, or as it's known as TNR. We'll also reduce the overpopulation through adoption, and that's a permanent removal from the street, so that's a good thing. And we also advocate for the community cat. In other words, we will work to write programs that will keep them from being trapped and killed, as some groups would like to see. So that's what we do.
Wonderful. And I saw that you mentioned membership. Tell us a little bit about this membership.
Okay, so so that we can kind of have some sort of control over the people using the certificates, because these certificates are not supposed to be used for pets, personal pets, because we don't want to take the business away from the veterinarians, and this is one of the reasons that they will work with us, is because we're only working with strays. And so as a member, they join, it's an annual fee. It's $35 a year, and we do give a discounted annual rate for senior citizens 55 and older. It's only $20 a year for them. And so with that, you can buy any number of certificates. And also we give a reduced rate of veterinary care on the Miami Meow Mobile for foster cats. Those are cats that are being put through the adoption program. So we will do low-cost testing and vaccinating as well as the sterilization.
Wonderful. And so tell me a little bit. I've heard about Dear Tabby, but I'm not sure everybody has. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. Dear Tabby is it's our communication system through email to be able to send out important information to all the members that are in the cat network. They do have to, it's put out by Google Groups, so they do have to join. And every time we have a meeting, we have monthly meetings, okay. And we always, on the bottom of our agenda, put the address for joining Dear Tabby.
Nice.
So now I have to say one caveat though. Dear Tabby, we're not allowed to be on a soapbox. Okay. We are not allowed to ask for help with fostering cats or kittens unless we offer some sort of compensation and make a promise to take the kittens back when they're old enough to be adopted. In other words, we don't want to dump animals on other members. So those kind of things aren't allowed.
Okay, that's good. That's very good.
That's very good. Very good. So Charlene, you mentioned the trap, neuter, release, and I think it's commonly called TNR. Tell us about the Cat Network's role in TNR and community cats, and a little bit about what you do to promote it.
Well, we really don't have to do too much to promote it. I mean, in the beginning we did. Because people weren't aware of it. So we would put out newsletters, and the newsletters were available at all of our, well, let me backtrack a little. One of the things we also did, you know, like I said, we have an adoption program, and we have always had a good relationship with some of the pet stores like PetSmart, Pet Supermarket, Petco, and they actually set up adoption centers for us. And we would show our adoptable cat and kittens in these adoption centers. And it's there that we would distribute to the public our newsletters. And in our newsletters, we always talked about these TNR programs so that they knew that they had an avenue to address these community cat problems. So a lot of the—
What exactly is it? What is it? So if you're feeding a stray cat that's in your neighborhood, or a community cat that just showed up and you don't know who the owner is, you started feeding it and it's been at your house for a couple weeks now, is that part of the way you would utilize a TNR program?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, definitely. If you're feeding, we have a saying: if you feed it, fix it. You know, feeding a stray, neuter, or spay. So we try to encourage everyone, if we find out that they've been feeding, that they need to fix them. If you're feeding and not fixing, you're the part of the problem. And
so do they reach out? Do they reach out to the Cat Network for help with that? Or
yes.
If I know nothing about cats, nothing about trapping, I have no idea. I know I can't touch this cat, but I feed it every day. And I want to be a responsible person. So how do I go about doing that, getting it fixed? And
so a lot of times these people will come to our meetings, or they'll call us. We do have a dedicated voicemail phone line where they can call and leave a message, and we'll call them back within 48 hours to help them to set up and help them with the problem that they are consulting with us with. For example, we have a lot of volunteers that will go out and either trap the cat themselves, or they will lend a trap to these people and teach them how to trap. Because it's much better to teach them to do the trapping, because then you're adding more people to address the problem. And it also empowers them to go and do more than just that cat in their yard. Like maybe then they'll help their neighbors with their cat, or they have friends who have the same situation in their community. And then that's the way it spreads until everybody's involved, because this is a community problem. It's not an individual problem.
So it sounds like there's a lot of different people in different communities that if you tell me, if I tell you I live in Kendall, then you would connect me with somebody who's in Kendall who can teach me how to trap this cat out front and get it vaccinated and spay neutered for low cost so that I can afford to keep on feeding it. Then they would just call or email you at the Cat Network and leave a message, and then you'll connect them with somebody who can help them.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's where we utilize Dear Tabby. For example, somebody calls the phone line and they, they're elderly, they can't do the trapping themselves, and they live in a particular area. Then a Dear Tabby will go out to all the members. Hey, is there someone who can help this person trap these cats? Sometimes they're willing to pay, some sort of compensation for your time and your gasoline. And other times, you just do it as a good person.
Nice.
That's great.
So again, we were talking about community cats. And so I feel that one of the situations that I've read in the news is about the situation at like different HOAs or, different condos and what happens there when they find these communities. So how do we address that?
Yeah, it's a touchy subject, and you have to address it with a lot of diplomacy. So what we try to do is we explain first of all, we try to find out when is the cat issue to be discussed at their board meeting. And so we try to get an agenda, and we try to talk to one of the board members to put us on the agenda to give a presentation so that they know exactly what the problem is and how to address the problem and do it humanely. Because really, 95% of the population, they don't want to harm the animals. They just want them to go away. But, they say, well, can't you trap them and find homes for them? But a lot of these community cats are not social, and they aren't adoptable. So the most humane thing to do, especially if you have a feeder, and that's one of the qualifications, is to trap them, neuter them, and return them to where we trap them, where they will continue to be fed, but now they've been rabies vaccinated, and they're sterilized, so they won't be reproducing or having all those nasty cat fights and yowling at night and all that obnoxious behavior that irritates people.
So just to reconfirm, you are not an actual cat rescue where you take in cats. You're out there helping the cats in the community, and you have foster homes, and you're basically a network, a cat network that helps reduce it.
Yes, we have no shelter. We have no plans to have a shelter. And so we do, like I mentioned, we do have these adoption centers in the pet stores, but those are only for cats that have been completely vetted and sterilized and are what we call in primo condition for adoption. So we can't take, if somebody walks in the store with a kitten or a cat that they found, we cannot take them and put them in our store because they haven't been vetted. So in a case like that, we give them a brochure and we invite them to join the Cat Network. We tell them what their options are to get low-cost vetting of those animals, and then they're welcome to come and show them with us. Of course, they have to be a member of the Cat Network in order to do that. But yes, again, we have no shelter, so we cannot take the animals in. Now, sometimes you'll find one of the Cat Network volunteers who has the space available in their home to foster a cat or a kitten or a litter of kittens, and then they will take them in. And that's really great, but it depends on the volunteer. It's not a given that it can happen in every situation.
Got it. Okay. So I've actually been seeing a lot on store and on different apps that that are about building community. And I've seen a lot of questions about what should people do with an injured cat. They're finding injured cats, and what should people do? Like, who should they call? Do you have any resources for them? Anything you could recommend?
Well, if the cat is seriously injured, and they can somehow collect the cat, and I strongly urge you, never ever try to pick up a cat on the street. That is very dangerous both to you and to the cat, unless you have the proper, like, gloves, a towel, and a way to transport the animal. So if it's mortally injured or very injured, I would strongly urge that they take them to our county shelter, because there they will give aid to the animal if it can be helped. Otherwise, if it's mortally injured, they can humanely euthanize it, and it's at no cost to you. As a good Samaritan, you're bringing the animal in. If it's a minor injury, well, minor meaning anywhere from a broken leg, a broken tail, to maybe a flesh wound, then we can only suggest some low-cost veterinary clinics.
All right.
A lot of times, if you like working from the veterinary medicine side, if you find an injured cat and you transport it to a clinic, most of the time they will do palliative care or palliative care for that cat, meaning pain meds, and make a decision on what needs to be done if it's really injured. And same with a dog. They'll stabilize the pet. They'll do the pain meds and pain control. And then if you don't want to take responsibility or ownership for that, or financial responsibility for that missing pet, then they'll, in the morning or as soon as it's next feasible, they'll actually call Animal Services, have that pet picked up by Animal Services, who will transport it to the shelter, who has a list of people who have reported their animals missing, and they can connect them a lot faster than we can in an animal hospital. Also, we have a scanner. Every animal that you find that's injured, or before it goes anywhere, it should get scanned for a microchip, because cats a lot of times have microchips and people forget. And nowadays you've got to scan every single animal that comes in. If they have a microchip, you can save yourself a lot of time by finding the owner, and then the owner can come and take responsibility for the pet.
That's interesting though, because most dogs, not all, have microchips, and that's something that's pretty common. I didn't know that it was more common now to actually microchip your cat. And so the thing is, like, how now that if you find this cat, how do you pick it up when it's kind of, you don't know how they're going to react, and how can we scan them?
Yeah, it's kind of like, you got to have a carrier. You got to have something to put it in. If you don't call somebody to bring it over while you watch over the pet, don't let it run back in the street or wherever it is to get away. Don't pick it up without a carrier or without a box or something, because it will bite you. If it's in pain, it's going to bite. It's not anything against the animal. It doesn't mean that it's mean or that it's rabid. It just means that that it's in pain. And if you get bit by that animal, now that animal has to go through a couple other processes before anything can happen to it now. So you don't want to get bit. If you have gloves and you pick it up, or you can slide it into a carrier, or you can call Animal Services if it's a dog and it's injured. They'll come. If it's not, if it's a normal time of day, which that never happens, but yeah, it always happens at night. But there's a couple different things you can do. Calling the cat network, if it's a cat injured, if you call them, you're going to get the voicemail, and it's going to take a while for someone to get back to you. So that's not really the ideal thing to do.
No, but emailing, you'll get a faster response if you email the cat network. Also, there are some excellent community cat Facebook pages.
Okay.
That a lot of cat members are also members of that Facebook presence. And so I would definitely check out. Social media is really a excellent way to go when you need to really send out an alarm about an injured animal. Not just Facebook, but putting something on Instagram, Twitter, and also this community system called Nextdoor. I'm a member of My Neighborhood's Nextdoor, and it's amazing the number of people that will report lost dogs, lost cats, found cats, injured animals, and they get very quick responses.
Yeah, they a lot of times get reunited that way.
Yes,
Social media, and then you know, if we put it on the Meow Mobile Facebook page, and then we share it, and then everybody else shares it, eventually it goes to 15,000 people. They're going to either A, get help for it, or B, find the owner. So social media is huge.
Yeah, after this, maybe we can put, you know, in like like the notes or something, a resource of what pages we can go post specifically for cats, because I know that there's lost Broward and Dade, but with the cats, I'd love to, you know, have a couple resources that you know of that are helpful for our pet parents.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So kittens, I mean, we see community cats, but what do we do if we find a litter of kittens?
Well, the first thing you do is you monitor them. Wherever they are, unless they're in a dangerous situation. A lot of times people will find them in their backyards, or their dog will find them when they're taking a walk under a bush. And in a situation like this, where it's in a fairly safe place, we recommend that they wait and monitor, because a lot of times the mother cat is in the process of moving the kittens from one place to another. It's natural for them to do that to avoid predators. And so the mother cat, in many instances, will return. If you wait 24 hours and the kittens are still there and unattended, then yes, you need to rescue them, because it's obvious that something has happened to the mother. Either she has met with some unfortunate accident, or she's one of these young mothers that doesn't know what to do and basically abandons the kittens soon after birth. That doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And in a case like that, you take the kittens home, you keep them warm, because kittens cannot regulate their body temperature, so they need to be kept warm. And then you get on the horn and you use social media, you call your vet clinic, you can email the cat network to find out what is the next step, depending on the age of the kitten.
Got it.
And don't be sad. A lot of times, coming from the medicine side, a lot of times the mom abandons the kitten because something's wrong with it. And then when a client gets it, or a good Samaritan gets it, and they try their best and they do everything they can, and the kitten still doesn't make it, it's not necessarily that you did anything wrong. It's that the kitten, something was wrong that you're unaware of, that's not visible, that something's going on inside. It could be, it could be leukemia positive, or other things. There's a lot of different things that could be that. Yeah, there could be birth defects that you don't know and you don't see, and the mom senses it, so she leaves that one behind. So it's great that you did it, that you tried, and that you kept it comfortable and warm. And if it does pass, don't get sad. Don't think it's something, because people take it to heart. They really do, and they get very attached very quickly because you're trying to bottle feed something, but chances are there's something wrong. That's why it got left behind. So do your best, and you helped it.
Yeah, people get attached, and we feel like we didn't do something right, and we could have done something better. But I think that leads into like a good next we can do, talking about kitten care, and should we come across a litter, if we can help even just a little bit to make it easier for them to get on their path to growth and healthy growth. So I have a question. If people are interested in helping the Cat Network, is there anything that we can do to help you all? What is it that the Cat Network needs from the community to continue their mission?
Okay, there's actually several things that we would love to have residents of Miami-Dade and Broward counties to assist us. We always accept donations, of course. That's number
Right.
one, because then we can put those in our different programs. But we're always looking for foster parents. We're also looking for people that would like to volunteer at our adoption centers, where we maintain the cats every day. We're there twice a day to, to give them fresh food and water, clean their litter boxes, give them playtime. And then we do the adoption shows on the weekends when we don't have a pandemic.
Right.
We do still have cats in our adoption centers during this time. However, we are not doing our adoption shows, but we can meet individually with the people using social distancing. And we have had actually quite a number of adoptions. So those we can use volunteers. And we also could use volunteers with our phone lines. Like we mentioned earlier, it is a dedicated line, but it is manned by voicemail. So what happens is the volunteers check the voicemail daily and return the calls. We also can always use supplies. If people want to make a donation through Amazon or through the pet stores, buying supplies for bottle feeders, bottles, the nursing formula, food, things of this nature. Now, I do want to say one thing. We do not promote the feeding of stray cats. We assist people who do feed stray cats, and we applaud them for being humanitarians, but that's not in our mission statement. We don't promote the feeding of stray cats, but we're there.
You mean like in a setting like a store, like not if it's in your yard, but you're talking about like if you go to a grocery store and you see a colony of cats, you're not necessarily saying feed them.
Right,
but,
right.
Okay.
Right, and that's just not in our mission statement.
Got it.
Okay. And so do you have an Amazon wish list that we could share with people? Is there a wish list?
We do have it. I believe it is on our website.
Okay.
I will have to double check on that to make sure that it's up to date in terms of what we need.
Sounds good. That'd be great. I'm sure some of the people that'll look at the video will want to help and help with the mission. So.
And whatever volunteers that we do obtain through your videos, everybody is trained. Nobody's going to have to try and do something cold turkey. No, we have written instructions, plus we have people who will train you. That's including for bottle feeders, for volunteers at the pet stores, and for the phone lines. Yeah.
Phenomenal. I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm learning a lot about the Cat Network that I didn't know. Because you hear so many different things, and then it's like, oh, this is what they do. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have a clear idea of exactly what you all do. So, but thank you so much for your time. I will definitely reach out to do that video next to see how Bobby's feeding. We're excited.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to send us an email at reservations@equipauzpetservices.com. We'll make another video. And we are so thankful and grateful for you to be on with us. And we will see you soon.
Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you, Charlene.